I think we're live. Yeah, I think we are. Let's see. Welcome, everybody. I am at the 2022 Dayton Xenia Hamvention. Been hanging out with the normal crew of suspects, and I'm back to the place where we're staying a little early because I am absolutely tired. So this is Josh's idea to do a live stream and let you guys fire away questions. I know it's going to take a few minutes for people to actually get noticed that I am live. So I'll start talking about my experience this weekend, and as your questions come along, I'll do my darndest to answer them properly and get you guys some answers. Get gals and gals some answers. Oh my God, I'm tired. So first, I'm just going to start by saying thanks to everybody that I met this weekend. This weekend has been super overwhelming for me. This is my first Hamvention, and it is so much more than I ever expected. Excuse me. I have expected, to see vendors and to see a few people, and I've seen more vendors than I thought were possible, and I've seen more people than I thought could possibly know about my channel. I've gotten to hang out with the usual crew of suspects, NAYO Mike, Charlie from Red Summit, Josh, Ham Radio Crash Course, Jason from Ham Radio 2.0, Frank from Tank Radio, Adam K6ARK, Kyle, James from Ham Radio Adventures. Who else has been hanging out here? Ham Radio Dude, Temporarily Offline Dude. Temporarily Offline, Ham Radio Dude. Did I mention that I'm tired? Yeah, it's been phenomenal. It's been really, really phenomenal. Meeting everybody, meeting all the folks that I admire, meeting the folks that follow me. It's, like I said, it's been overwhelming. And you all have been so kind, so very nice to me. I can't imagine how this could have been any better. It's been amazing. Anyhow, let's see. Yeah, my live stream is up. I just wanted to make sure. I'm watching my live stream and I'm like, I wonder if my live stream is up. Very nice to me. Gotta figure this out. Santiago, man, I met a guy today that at the POTA, at the Parks on the Air tent, and he says, I heard about you, and I heard it from Santiago. I don't have his name handy, and I left my notes in my car, but I met him, and he very distinctly said, I know of you because of Santiago. So there you go. James asked how many bounces it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Footsie Pop. I don't know. I haven't gotten there. This is Josh's favorite chair. He claimed it on the first night we were here, and when I went, when I said, "Hey guys, I'm heading back to the house," he says, "Well, do a Q&A from the Bouncy chair." So I am, right? This is the Bouncy chair. Let me finish opening up this beer, and I'll set the beer aside so I can give you guys a look at the Bouncy chair. But it's some kind of a suspended chair on a cradle, and you guys see that there's a spring up there, suspended from that spring up there, and there's this kind of a cage cradle, and then there's like rope on the sides to kind of keep you in, and it's bouncy and it's comfortable. It's very nice and comfortable. Santiago, David sounds right. He might have reached back out to you. Gave him a sticker. I think he was happy. Hopefully, I can catch him while I'm skydiving one of these days. The forecast here has been 100% hot garbage. I got here on Thursday afternoon. It was windy. I wasn't expecting to jump Thursday. Not a big deal. Friday looked so-so. The drop zone decided not to skydive at all on Friday on account of winds. I called this morning at 9:15 in the morning. They open up at 9. They're just going to go ahead there and make my first jump before even going to the Hamfest. And they said, sorry, we're calling it a day on account of weather. It's a little windy right now, too windy right now, and it's supposed to roll storms later. And we had about a 2-hour window where it was jumpable in the middle of the day, and they weren't open because of it. They weren't open on account of calling it a day early. But I understand that, right? You're not going to run a business for several hours paying employees and staff on account of maybe getting, 2 hours worth of jumping in. It's just not, 2 hours worth of work in. It's just not going to happen. So they called the day off at 9:15 this morning. So that was another womp, 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 womp. And tomorrow, guess what? It's looking like more rain. We've had rain every day. That's not true. We didn't have rain on Friday. And the winds on Friday, the lowest I saw them, they were gusting 30 knots, and that's no way. I'm no way in this world am I jumping in that. So I don't know if we'll get a jump in this weekend or not. I really hope to get at least a jump in this weekend, because I think it would be neat to make a jump over the Xenia Hamfest. I mean, it's the biggest Hamfest in the world. How would I not want to make that jump, right? So don't think that I'm not trying to make the jump. It's weather. I can't help that. Drop zone calls it, and I'm not jumping in stupid winds. They're not going to let me jump out anyways into stupid winds. The drop zone calls it up at 25 knots anyways. Drinking one of Josh's beer. This is a Grainworks Cincinnati Liar's Lager. Apparently it is a special beer that they make for the Voices of America as a fundraiser or something like that. I don't know. It does have the VOA logo on it, VOA Museum logo. And that was my first sip of one, and it's actually pretty tasty. Let me set this down. Safety first. Santiago, you're right. Safety first. And second and third and fourth and fifth. Playing radio comes in like 100th down the line, right? Listen, if it happens, I really, really, really want it to happen. But if it doesn't happen, it wasn't meant to be, and maybe next year it will be. It's that simple. There's always Huntsville this year. I'm planning on going to Huntsville. So with any luck, I'll get down there, and the weather will be beautiful, and I'll be able to jump. And, we'll get some parachute mobile over at Hamfest sooner or later, right? So, let's see. We started this kind of early. We started on Thursday. And I picked up QDX, if I'm doing that right. The QRP Labs has an FT8 little transceiver, 5 watts. Excuse me. You build your own kit. And they sold out of version 1 in like minutes, and version 2 sold out in minutes again. And version 3 sold out in a few days, and I missed it. And they came here with an extra 100 of them. And I think every single one of the YouTubers picked one up. At least everyone in this house picked one up. So there's at least 6 YouTubers that picked up one of those kits. I'm going to build mine over winter. Listen, right now, the priority for me is skydiving. It's that time of the year. So anything I pick up here is going to wait till winter. Got to see some really neat stuff at the QRP manufacturers meeting, vendors meeting. That kit was one of the things. APRS beacon from QRP Labs. um, a whisper beacon from QRP Labs, both of which I'm going to go to buy tomorrow. I didn't realize that they had them. I just saw them on the list and I didn't see them on the table. So I thought they don't have them with them, so I'm not going to buy it, of course, 'cause, they don't have them. But apparently they do. So I'm going to go to their booth tomorrow and pick them up because I want to have those for Parachute Mobile. Steve, temporarily offline, said, how many freaking antennas are you going to have behind you? And I said, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to manage, if I'm going to do it at all or not, but I want to try, right? Worst case scenario, I buy the kit and it doesn't work out. I can't figure out how to manage the antenna. I can always sell the kit later, right? After I build it. That way I get the experience of building it and, I get my money back, maybe. And if not, no big deal, right? They're not very expensive kits. Certainly worth buying and trying, right? Part of the hobby is experimenting with gear, right? And if you're okay with soldering some components on and testing them out and make sure that they're in the right order and blah blah, you should. Doesn't mean you have to, but if you're comfortable with that or at least slightly intrigued by that idea, do it. So pick that up. Got to look at some really, really neat keys from, I don't know the fellow's name, but he made some really beautiful brass keys, and I thought about buying one, but I came with the idea of buying a top-end key because I'm going to learn CW over winter, and my mindset is buy once, cry once. Yes, I bought a very nice key, but at the very least I'm not going to buy 3 intermediate keys that I'm going to spend money on and then not recoup my investment on. So I just bought a really nice key from Bengali. Yesterday I bought a Bengali Expedition, I think is what they call it. And it's beautiful. I don't have it with me. I'll do a video about it later. It's going to be a shorty because it's just, it's a CW key. I bought a Morserino from Kyle. Kyle built it. He's not using it anymore. And I mentioned this morning that I was going to go buy one at the show today, and he says, don't worry about it. Gotcha. You can buy mine. But Echo. Josh, are you saying what I'm getting? You're getting an Echo from me? Let me know. And if I'm getting an Echo, I'm pretty screwed because I don't have my headphones with me, so hopefully that's it. Hopefully it's not an Echo. Let's see. What else did I get? I'm trying to remember. I've spent quite a bit of money here this weekend. Got some Powerful stuff for streamlining the stuff that I already have, just making it a little bit nicer. We're watching at the bar. Thank you, Josh. Went to Signal Stuff and bought a handful of super elastic signal sticks because I have a handful of HDs and they're either sporting their rubber duckies or not sporting an antenna at all. I've been putting it off, and I figured I was coming here and I realized I'm just going to buy them there. Bought a handful of signal sticks and the adapters to turn my HTs all into BNC connectors. So Josh has a question. Explaining the packing of the parachute, how long does it take to teach someone? So start with the easy question. Okay, there goes the AC. Hopefully that doesn't bother you guys too much. How long does it take to teach someone? On average, most people are going to take about a month or 2 to learn how to skydive. It takes 25 jumps total, and there's a series of things that you have to do. You have to perform certain things in the air and under the canopy, under the wing, to be able to progress to the next step. So basically you learn a baby step, and then next to that you add another little baby step, and then you combine the two, and so on and so forth, until you complete all the minimum skill set required to skydive. and get your license. Like I said, most people take a month or two to do it. Some people take a year, and some people can do it in a week. Just depends on how much time you have to dedicate to it, and how much you're willing to spend in terms of in one hit, right? If a license is going to cost you somewhere around $3,000 to get, so if you have $3,000 to go for a week and you have the time to, like, I'm going to take a week off from work, you can take a week off from work, start on Friday, and finish on the following Sunday, that same Sunday. Tank, no. And have a license. You can get 25 jumps done in 7 days, 10 days, yeah, and then that accounts for weather coming in and messing your plans up and whatnot. That's the answer to the first part of the question. Mike, yes, minimum age in the United States is 18 years old of age. You can blame the lawyers on that one. I can explain it, but it would take me a half hour, and it's pretty pointless. Basically, it's the lawyers, 18 years old. It's their fault. It used to be 16, not anymore. Josh asked about how to pack the parachute, and Tank asked about how to pack the parachute. And the answer is part of what you do when you learn to skydive is how to pack a parachute. And there's a process to it. You make sure that the lines are clear and untangled. You make sure that the fabric, that you have a lot of fabric that is the parachute, is properly folded and then cocooned and then put in the bag, again properly folded, so that you get a proper deployment. All told, when you're experienced at packing, it takes about 15 minutes to pack a parachute. There's some labor involved, right? You're going to sweat. But if I can do it, anybody can do it. Trust me. And no, Tank, you cannot pack our parachute because you don't know how to pack parachutes, and I really, really, really want to live when we jump. So if you don't know already, Tank and I are going to make a tandem down at Huntsville this year. He's lost a lot of weight. He's done a really great job of keeping himself on track, and is really, really commendable. If you're, one of my examples is I need more beer. Yes, I do. But I'm trying to stay as sober as possible in case someone actually needs me to come and get them, because that way I can, sober up and then get them. Reed, it was nice to meet you, man. Hopefully we'll catch you again maybe tomorrow, and if not, maybe in Huntsville, and maybe next year, right? But yeah, packing a parachute is methodical. You follow the same pattern every time. You make sure the stuff is done exactly right, and it basically is no different than folding the sheets for your bed or folding the towels for your bathroom, right? There's a pattern, there's a format to it, and you're making sure that the lines are clear, you're making sure that the fabric is properly folded, and you're making sure that the sliders up against the canopy, slider stoppers, and then that the canopy itself is properly folded and fits in the bag. If anybody wants to learn, like properly learn how to pack a parachute, there's a company that makes parachutes called Performance Designs. They have a YouTube channel. You can go on YouTube and search for Performance Designs, and they have a series there. Carlos, you're not in a plane. I know, man. I wish I were skydiving, but I'm not. So yeah, that's packing a parachute. Believe it or not, it's pretty simple. A beginner will take a half hour or an hour to pack it. Just depends on how much experience you have. It's no big deal. You follow the same thing. The thing is, you have to be smart about following the same pattern, and the pattern's correct, and being methodical about it. Don't rush a parachute pack job. It never ends well. Josh asks, how many dude says, how many crash course sent him? Thanks, dude. Do you add a counterweight to the antenna to keep it down? I do sometimes, and sometimes I don't. It depends on what I want to do. So if I want to do a horizontal polarization, I don't. want to do vertical polarization, I do. It just depends on what I'm doing and how I want to do it. Excuse me. Most of the 2-meter jumps I will do with a counterweight because HTs and everything in FM is expecting vertical, so it behooves me to have a vertical polarization if I want to make more contacts, right? So yeah, that's the that's the way it goes there. What I do is, if anybody's familiar with hunting or waterfowl hunting, you get decoys for hunting waterfowl, and those decoys are made out of plastic, and they float. And the way you keep them in place is with a lead strip. They weigh about 8 ounces, 4 or 8 ounces depending on which ones you buy. And guess what? I hunt waterfowl, so I just took some from my decoys, have some line on them, and then I attached them to a loop on the antenna. So that way the lead doesn't react with the antenna, and I don't have to worry about reactants, right? So when I do have a weight, that's what I do. I have a counterweight, typically 8 to 12 ounces, depending on what I'm using, to keep it vertical, and most of the time it streams almost vertical, right? There's a little slope to it, and it's going to be because I'm doing 20 miles an hour forward speed, right? I'm doing 20 to 25 miles an hour forward speed, and guess what? The wind also reacts against that weight, and it pushes it back a bit. So it's a little bit of a slope, but it's mostly vertical. If you have questions, drop them down there in the chat, or over there in the, hang on, let's see, over there in the chat? Yeah, over there in the chat. And I'll gladly answer them. There's been a few questions already asked, but if you have any questions, if you're tuning in and you're have questions, drop them in the chat. I will do my best to answer the questions that you have. Keep them PG, folks. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to answer anything. I'm going to answer almost anything. Let's see. N5 COP says, love what you're doing for the hobby with your parachute mobile. Just curious if any of the corporate type marketing gurus hit you up to sponsor you. If not, they're screwing up big time. Stay safe. Thank you very much for that. No one's really reached me for a sponsorship yet. I don't know if anybody ever will. I'll gladly accept some of that, because when I do a parachute mobile jump, I have to take myself. I work in skydiving. Okay, so if I take myself out of the work pool, we're contractors. We're subcontractors. It means I'm not making money working in skydiving, teaching people how to skydive, doing tandems. Getting people their very first tandem experience, their very first skydive experience. So, I'm like legitimately losing money by not by doing a parachute mobile jump, but I enjoy what I'm doing. It's fun to get on the air and make cues with you guys. Hang on, let me move this over here so I can put my beer a little bit closer and easier to reach. I did an interview with Yesu, and I thought they were going to be interested in something like that, but it turned out not. Don't know. May turn into something, may not. I talked to Elecraft. They may lend me a radio later on this year. I don't know. Again, it sounded like maybe. I do have a radio on loan from R&L Electronics. Roger at R&L was super, super cool about it. Basically I have a radio on loan, a 705 on loan from R&L, and the idea is I take a parachute mobile at Xenia, and the weather has screwed me so far, and I really, really want to use that radio because I want to be able to return it to him, A, in really good condition, and B, with a card that says, this radio, this serial number, went parachute mobile at Xenia Hamfest 2022, and so on and so forth. Is his floor model radio, so it's technically used, right? And hopefully he's able to recover some of the used downgrade by having that card and be able to provide it. Maybe one of you is interested in buying that radio. I don't know, but I don't know if I'll get a chance to fly it this weekend or not. The weather's not looking good for tomorrow. Big boobs candy. Do you play with yourself the night before you go parachuting? No. I play with my wife. There you go. Told you I would answer almost anything. There you go. That's as close as I'm going to get to answering a silly question. Ed Sweeney, how you doing? Desert Walker, yes. Today was actually a pretty nice day. We had storms through the day and it was windy. Not jumpable, but it was, overall, not bad. How you doing, Andy? Nice to see you on the stream, on the chat there. Let's see, who else am I seeing? Code 3 Indiana. He was at Hamvention yesterday, didn't see you. Hey, listen, hopefully you haven't gone back home to Indiana. And if you have, well, we'll catch you in Columbia City. And if not, maybe we'll see you tomorrow. But yeah, it's if you don't really get it, I love skydiving. It's a freaking riot. And I'll encourage anyone to do it at least once. I was told today by someone who shall remain nameless, no possible way in this world would he get in an airplane and jump out of it. But, okay, look, it's not for everybody. All I say is, you should try it at least once. It's not like you're doing something nasty, right? A little scary at first, for sure. I'll tell you that my first skydive, I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. And, here I am, 11 years later, and it's a riot. It really is. So, how you doing, Phil? Saw Code 3 says he saw Josh. Didn't get a chance to get a picture, though. Well, I got to tell you, Josh and Jason, I have 700 some odd subscribers. Low numbers, right? Do I want to be? Do I want to have more numbers? Absolutely. But I got to tell you, after seeing Josh and Jason and Frank navigate or attempt to navigate the Hamfest this weekend, there's a part of me that's actually pretty glad that I'm not as famous as they are, or as infamous as they are, however you want to put it, because they can't go 5 steps without getting stopped. And that's part of what happens, right? You become popular and whatnot. People follow you and you're fans. And you guys are amazing. The folks that have recognized me have really made me blush. It's been fantastic to meet you guys. But there's also the liberty of being able to walk around and enjoy the show for the sake of enjoying the show and not having to stop every 5 steps. And I saw those guys walking through it, and I'm like, wow, they can't they have a hard time navigating, and they have stuff to do. It's not like they're just there for giggles. And the other thing is they're very gracious. Like, they'll actually stop and spend time with you and take a picture with you and whatnot. And they're very, very magnanimous about it. So if you see them at the Hamfest and they have the look of a beeline in their face, it's probably because they're heading to a scheduled interview. They set something up with someone, and they need to get there, right? But if they have the ability to, they will stop and say hi and shake your hand and give you a sticker and take a picture. So I was surprised at how difficult it is for those guys to walk from one end of the building to the other. It's amazing. Phil, yeah, bungee jumpers like commitment. Yes, they do. Either go or don't, but don't halfway go there. Josh asks, question: is everything you carry for radio tethered? Why or why not? Essentially, the answer is yes. So my radios are tethered to me through the bag. So they're tethered to the bag. They are then the bag's attached to me, and it's for a number of reasons. One, I don't want to hurt anyone by any of this stuff dropping, right? Even an HT weighs 8 ounces a pound, and when that much weight gets going at terminal velocity, if it hits anyone or anything of value, it's going to hurt or damage it. And I don't want to do that. That's just irresponsible. And, I wouldn't be able to sleep very well at night if something happened to someone on account of me not securing my gear. Right? That's one. Two, the cheapest radio I have is like $400. I don't want to lose $400 on account of me not securing my gear, right? So, yes, everything is tethered. The radio is tethered. The antenna is attached to the radio by way of the feed line, so technically tethered. And the radio is tethered to the pack. About the only thing that isn't tethered is the recorder, and the recorder weighs like 2 ounces, and I have no way of tethering it. I'm still trying to figure out a way of running some form of a tether. It'll probably be some kind of a rubber band, then tying that into the pack. So, How Many Dude had a question redacted, and Read Somebody Rep had a question redacted. I don't know if that was the bots, and if it's the bots, ask it in a different way. And if it's you that did it, then okay. And if it's the bots and you can't ask it a different way, you both have my cell phone number. You can text me a question and I'll answer it on the stream. Ed asks, has Frank set a date for his jump? Yes, sort of. We're going to do it at Huntsville Hamfest this August. More than likely, it'll be on the Friday, because I know that he wants to be at the Hamfest on Saturday. So more than likely, it'll be on the Friday, because it's just logistics, right? Might do it on Saturday, but just depends on weather and on his schedule. It's one of those 2 days. May even be Sunday, I don't know. But basically, we have narrowed it down to a weekend. And he's excited, I'm excited. I really, really, really look forward to taking Tech up and giving him the experience of a lifetime with a tandem skydive. He's done a lot of work to lose the weight that he needs to lose in order to make this safe and actually be able to go. And he has done what he needs to do in order to get a skydive in. So I'm super, super pumped and happy for him that he's going to get to do this in August. It's going to be amazing, really, guys. It's just, I love taking people for their first jump, especially people that I know. I've gotten to take some family members, I've gotten to take some friends, and it's always a fun experience, and it's just as rewarding for me as it is for them. So, let's see, who else here? Hammer to Do asks, why do you use a larger parachute this year as opposed to last year? So, Hammer to Do has a little inside baseball. My normal parachute is 135 square feet. I bought a bigger parachute at the end of last year, 170 square feet, and they make them bigger still. And if I can find a good deal on a bigger one and I have the money, I will absolutely buy a bigger parachute. The bigger the parachute with the same exact load takes longer to descend, which means I get to play radio longer. So right now I'm looking at about 1,000 foot a minute of descent, and if I add another 50 square foot of wing over my head, I can slow that down to 750 foot a minute, which gives me more time to play parachute mobile, which gives me more time to make more QSOs with you guys and lets me work you and lets you work me. And it slows the whole process down and makes things a little bit less chaotic and hectic. So, yeah, that's why I bought a bigger parachute for this year. Basically, the time I had about 8 minutes on my 135 square foot wing, workable time, and now I'm up to about 12 minutes of workable time on my 170, and it's so that I can talk to you guys more, right? So that I can make more contacts and get you guys that rare QSO that is parachute mobile, right? So that's the reason I have a bigger parachute this year. Charlie from Red Summit asks, how important is it to have a mentor for your sport? Let me tell you, Charlie, having a mentor for my sport is as important as having a good elmer for the hobby of ham radio. A good elmer helps you navigate the technical aspects of things and helps you get in the right track. A good elmer will get you started, right, in the right path, and then continue to mentor you and help you, okay, you got your tech, now get your general, now you get your extra, and so on and so forth, and help you in learning and understanding the aspects of ham radio, right? In skydiving, it's the same way. I have a mentor, I actually have several mentors. My primary mentor basically is that same guy that an Elmer is for ham radio. He sees what I do and says, hey, you should, and I do. Hey, you shouldn't, and I don't, right? And anytime I get any feedback from my mentors, I take it to heart because it means that they're looking out for me. They have way more experience than I do. And they look out for me and my safety and my development as a skydiver, as a flyer, as a pilot. I'm flying a wing. You may not consider that piloting, but that is piloting a wing. So it is an incredible resource to be able to tap into decades and thousands and thousands and thousands of jumps of experience. And like with an Elmer in skydiving, in ham radio, you have to be willing to listen to their feedback, whether it's good or bad, right? And not just listen, implement the solutions that they're giving you because they've seen stuff, they've done stuff, and they're trying to keep you from making the mistakes they made. I'm a mentor to a few people in skydiving, and it's not that I decided to be their mentor, it's that they decided to choose me as their mentor, right? And that's typically the way it works. You find someone you look up to, and you say, hey, would you? And in skydiving, the answer is always yes, right? We don't, the sport of skydiving is as safe as it is today because those folks took the time to listen to the folks they were being mentored by. And then they took the time to mentor other people to keep evolving the sport and making it safer. So the answer, bottom line, is because they help you be safer and stay alive longer, right? So yeah, that's a great question, Charlie. Ed asks, would the jump be streamed or just video? Either way, it'll be epic. It'll be just video. There's no way for me to stream the video down. The cell phone reception, you lose cell phone reception inside of the airplane somewhere near the 7,000 foot mark, and even then it's terribly, terribly low speed. And outside of the airplane, you pick it back up somewhere around the 8,000 foot mark, and even then it's terribly, terribly low speed, so it's not conductive or conducive to streaming. And it's not safe, right? I carry a GoPro in a specially built glove that fits in my left hand, and I will capture the video. I will capture the visual of the skydive. I will capture some of the audio of the skydive. Listen, if Tank yells profanities loud enough, the video of the GoPro microphone will actually pick it up. How do I know? I've done this a little bit. And I've played back some video from people that you would have never in a million years expect to be cursing, and then you go, wow, he is cursing up a storm, or she is cursing up a storm. So listen, I'm going to take my GoPro with me. I will give Frank the video, and he is welcome to edit it and post it however he sees fit. And I hope it makes for a fantastic video for all of you to watch, and hopefully, maybe, it encourages you, some of you, to go make a tandem, to make that first jump, because it really is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Okay, let me grab a sip here. Phil says, Carlos, don't forget your earplugs. Don't worry, Phil. In free fall, I can't hear a thing. Wind is whipping by you at 120 miles an hour. If the tandem student is in front, yells, I can actually hear some of the yell, but 120 mile an hour wind drowns 99% of it out. Now, I may want earplugs in once we have the parachute open. Santiago asked, farthest QSO made on a jump. So far that I have verified, farthest QSO I have on a jump is 209 miles, and I did it with my HT 2 years ago. No, that's not true. Farthest QSO is to Panama on HF last year. That's the farthest QSO I have on a jump. Now, that was on 20 meters, right? So that's expected, right? You're expected to get some distance with 20 meters. On 2 meters, though, it was 209 miles. And, excuse me, it was to Horicon, Wisconsin, I believe it was. I thought I had a 600 some odd mile contact, and I don't. Last week I did a jump on 2 meters, and I got a 4 land call or a 5 land call. I don't remember which was which. I looked it up. Excuse me, the fella lives in Fort Belvoir, Virginia, and I, like, for a shelter, Fort Belvoir was like 664 miles or something like that. And I thought, my God, this is amazing. Strapo is working really well. Now, I got a message from him later saying, sorry, man, I was driving across Illinois on I-80, and I was at this town, and it worked out to like 50 miles or something like that. I don't remember. So it was something less, drastically less than 209 miles, and certainly less than Panama from Rochelle. So that's the answer to that. I sent the fella in Panama an email at his QRZ, the email he has posted on QRZ. He never replied. And I sent him a QSL card, and I never heard back. I hope he got it. I sincerely hope he got it, and he's looking at it going, this is pretty cool. I don't know. Okay? Let's see. Ed says, I don't think I have a problem with Mike picking up Frank. I don't think so either. And the funny thing is, Frank has that loud intro, but in general, he's pretty chill. He talks to you just like I'm talking to you now. He doesn't have a super loud voice. So I don't know what to expect from him in freefall. Everybody's different in freefall. The quiet people get loud, and the loud people get sort of quiet, and sometimes it goes louder still, and sometimes it goes quieter still. I can tell you that I took my sister-in-law for a tandem last year, and the cursing was abundant. I knew she had a potty mouth. I didn't know she had that much of a potty mouth. It was very, very funny to me. Just make sure it doesn't clip. I'll hold the camera out a little bit farther. It's just, the farther I hold it, the less sound that makes it to the camera. Let's see. I'm still echoing, says Porta by example. If I'm echoing, I'm sorry. I don't know what's causing the echo. Oh, hang on. Let's see. Can I mute this? How about that? Is that better? Bueller. So, Porta by example. Am I doing better with the echo now? I hope so. Anyhow. Let's see. N5COP says, new goal, parachute mobile, all 50 states. Honestly, that is a goal. That really is a goal, right? It's not a hard goal because I have a limited amount of time to do parachute mobile. Like I said earlier, I work in skydiving, and in order to do a parachute mobile jump, I have to take off work. And I have bills to pay, like all of you. So, listen, there's a Patreon link in my channel. If you guys want to drop some scratch in there, awesome. There's also a Buy Me a Coffee. If you guys want to drop some scratch in there, awesome. If not, not a big deal. I'm not terribly worried about it. I'll just do it when I can, how I can. Ham Radio Dude's actually helping me out with that. He's helping offset some of my expense for jumping. So that helps a lot, right? I'm able to at least dedicate a jump or two a month where I can just go, yeah, we're going to go do this, right? And what I'm not making doing tandems or teaching people isn't as much, right? So there's an offset there. Ham Radio, so Santiago says the echo's gone. Thank you for verifying that. I found the technical glitch. Yay! Fort Belvoir, that's close to B. I don't know what Porta by example means. Okay. And I'm getting a lot of fixed it, perfect, so on and so forth. This is great. So, Ed is taking his dog out. Lon is flying head down. So, yes, you can fly head down. No, you cannot do it on a tandem. No, you cannot do it as a student. But yes, there's a discipline in skydiving called head down flying, and yes, you can learn that. So, if you want to do that, get your license, learn how to fly on your belly, and then you can learn how to fly head down. Flying head down increases your vertical speed. So just know that. On your belly, you're going to average about 120 miles an hour. Flying head down, I want to say the average is something like 160 to 180. So, yeah, it goes way faster. Way faster. Any other questions? Drop them down there in the chat or over there in the chat. It's actually pretty neat to get some questions in and seeing what you guys think about and wonder about. So those of you that asked questions so far, thank you so much. That's actually pretty neat. So while I'm waiting for more questions, let me see. Other stuff that I've seen on the show in the last couple of days. I saw, I actually a tiny little video about it. It was maybe 30 seconds. I saw a guy that, based on his accent, I'm pretty sure he's from the UK, play with a Bengali key, iambic key, and he's doing something like 40 words a minute, and it sounds like a machine gun going. It's just beautiful. It really is one of those things where it's like, okay, I have goals. And I may not get to 40 words a minute, but my God, I have goals. So that is a super, super cool thing to see. And I wouldn't have seen it if it hadn't come. So, yeah. Let's see. Any other unrelated questions of the group? Has anyone tried to set up a 20-meter dipole in the wingspan of a Cessna? I think the metal in the Cessna's made out of aluminum panels. I think that might add a little bit of a reactance to a 20-meter dipole, or any dipole for that matter. So, yeah, the wingspan is 36 feet. Although you can get wing extensions. That's one of the things that gets most added to a lot of Cessnas. 182s anyhow. My understanding is the 182 is the most modified platform in the world. So they make modification kits for the 182. They make more modification kits for the 182 than anything else. That's my understanding. I could be wrong. I'm not an expert in that world. What else did I see? It was really neat. So I talked to John Kruk at Yesu. He saw the stream last week and he was intrigued by it. A little interview with him. I don't know when he'll publish that. Talked to Ellicraft, already said that. Talked to Eric at Ellicraft. That guy's got some really interesting views, some very interesting hobbies. He's a diver, and he thinks I'm crazy for jumping out of airplanes, but he cave dives. I'm telling you, skydiving is safer. I have some friends that cave dive and also skydive, and they'll tell you skydiving is safer. Very interesting guy. If you have a chance to talk to him, absolutely take the time to talk to him because he's a really super interesting guy. Who else have I talked to while I'm in here? I tried so I speak a little bit of Italian. I mean, a little bit. I used to live in Italy, and my Italian is very rusty. And the gentleman that owns Messi and Poloni was at the Gigaparts booth, and I spent probably a half hour butchering Italian, and it was a lot of fun because A, he was surprised that someone spoke Italian to him there, and B, he had all the technical knowledge on the manufacturing of the wire that they make, on the cable that they make. And it was really neat to see all the technical aspect that goes into that. So yeah, super neat stuff. Who else did I talk to was really interesting. There's a guy, oh my God, his name escapes me right now, but he sells covers for Ellicrafts, Icoms, and something else. They're clear polycarbonate covers, and he was set up at the Elecraft booth. And they're covers, and then he also makes a mount for it. So it's like you can buy both, or one or the other, and they're like beautiful polycarbonate, injection molded. And you know, if you have some customers that are in the injection molding world, and I get to see the good, the bad, and the ugly about injection molding from them. So of course, he tells me this is injection molded, and I start looking, scrutinizing it. It's beautifully injection molded, and I'm looking for the problems in it, and they're not there. So he's designed a really well built piece of kit. If I ever buy a radio that takes one of those covers, I'm absolutely buying one, because A, is really well built, and second, it protects the radio in a clean way, right? You can still see everything, so you know, you can dial it all in and then put the cover on, and you don't have to worry about it, especially for something like Parks on the Air, where you're at a park and there's dust and whatnot, or Summits on the Air. Yeah, absolutely, that thing is cool. And the polycarbonate that he's using is very, very clean and clear. There's a little bit of a smoke tint to it on purpose, and it's still very readable. Like, it's almost 100% clear, and it's very nicely done. What else? Who else did I talk to, man? The thing is about this show, this is my first Hamvention, and what I got to tell you is that for your first Hamvention, you're gonna be overwhelmed. If you're not overwhelmed, you're doing it wrong. I came here expecting to see this much, and on Friday I came back to the house we're staying at, having seen already this much, with a headache, trying to figure out how I'm going to crunch all this in my head, how I'm going to think. That I'm having a hard time remembering things right now because I saw so much on Friday. And I saw even more today, which is kind of impressive. And like this, there are things about this hobby that I didn't know existed that I saw today. Roger, yes, that's the Side KX. That is exactly what it is, a Side KX. And if you haven't seen one and you have an Elecraft radio, just go buy one. Seriously, it's really cool. I got to see some really cool stuff from Jason at the Gigaparts booth that I can't really talk about, but I got to tell you, he's got some really cool stuff coming. I also have a bill that my wife doesn't know I got coming, basically, because I said, okay, I want to buy that, and that, and he was like, it's not for sale yet. These are prototypes. I'm just kind of, sharing them with you because I want to see. And I'm like, okay, I'm still buying them. That's just send me a bill. Send me a bill. I'll buy them. Trust me, when you see these things, they're gonna blow your mind. They're just. Frank made the introduction to Jason for me at Gigaparts, and I thought Jason was one of their salespeople. No, he's not. He's their engineer. He designs this stuff specifically for Gigaparts, and that guy has got a brain on him. Like, he's designing some really, really, really cool stuff that I never in a million years expected, and it's innovative, and it's neat to see that this kind of stuff is happening in ham radio. So that's another one. I stayed an extra hour after the show talking to him. ADSB Exchange is here, not directly related to ham radio, but it's sort of tangentially related. I'm obviously a fan of ADSB Exchange because I use their software to track airplanes when I'm at drop zones. And that's if you've ever seen the link that I give out when I'm doing a parachute mobile jump to the airplane trackers, that's the tracker that I'm using. Okay, and it was neat to see them at a ham radio event because I didn't expect them to see them here, and it was nice to be able to put a face to the names of the people that you interact with by email about their software and about their hardware. And they have hardware. I think they sold out on their dongles today, and I think they sold out on their antennas today, which is really good for them. Super neat stuff. Jeremy asks, if I missed it, what HF radio do you use on your jumps? Excuse me. And it was a pleasure meeting you on Friday at the FDIM event, the KE0LFX. So, Jeremy, so far on HF, I have used Yaesu. No, check that. Wishful thinking here. Hang on. I've been using an ICOM IC706 Mark II-G. It hasn't done me wrong. However, I bought it used, and in somewhere along its life, someone butchered it, and I had to send it out to be repaired this winter. And I would like to have a better, newer radio for HF. Again, time and money. One of these days I'll have the time and the money to buy one. But for now, HF-wise, that's what I'm using. I would love to be able to take my 991A. I like my 991A a lot. But it won't fit in my Parachute Mobile bag, and if it won't fit in the bag, I can't take it. The bag that I have is the biggest bag that Maxpedition makes in that format, and I need that format because it has two belts. It has that bag is meant to be worn over the shoulder, but alternatively it can go around your waist, and they have a second belt on it that goes around your leg. And the reason I need that second belt around my leg is because if I just have the one around the waist, when I'm flying and I leave the airplane, the air can catch that bag and flip it and smack it right in my face. And I don't want that. That hurts. Ask me how I know. I did it with a flag bag. I was doing a demonstration jump with a flag, and it didn't have an attachment in the leg, and that's exactly what happened. So the next flag jump I did, I added a leg strap to it. So I would love to fit my 991A in it, but it's just too big. One of these days I might get an 891, or maybe somebody will come up with something that even fits my bills better. What I would like in my ideal world, I would have a radio that does 100 watts, has an SD card built into it for recording, and is the size of my 706 Mark II-G or an 891, right? Wishes, I don't expect to see my wishes come true anytime soon. I was hoping to see a new radio from Yaesu or from ICOM at this show. It didn't happen. Yaesu announced a microwave radio. It's not what I'm going to use for Parachute Mobile, so that doesn't tickle me in any way. So it doesn't have a practical application for me. I know that there are a few people at the show that were losing their marbles over it. And if that's your thing, have at it. I encourage you to pursue it and have fun with it. But it's just not for me, right? But yeah, that's what I'm using. When I talked to John at Yaesu, I was hoping that he would lend me an 891 to take on a jump later on this year, but Yaesu apparently has some kind of a policy where they don't lend radios out, and that's fine. It's no big deal. One of these days, I'll buy a different radio and I'll fly a different radio. But for now, I have a 706 Mark II-G, and it does okay. I've made contacts with a lot of people on it. It works. Ed says, have them send you the wife bill so you're covered. Radio just became a patron. Come, guys. Oh, dude, you're too kind. You're way too kind. Thank you very much. Santiago, thank you very much. That's very kind of you, dude. 45 Auto says, coast, cool, and use a boat anchor. You'll get to the ground quicker. Honestly, I tried fitting my Kenwood what's the Kenwood TS440, and it won't fit. I would take my Kenwood 440 or my 891 just for kicks, just to see how it works, how it behaves differently. Listen, part of what I'm doing is experimenting with radio. This hobby is, and a good part of it is experimenting, and that's what I want to do. So this is why I reached out to RNL. This is why I reached out to Elecraft. Uh, and, I'm sure that others might come forward and say, hey, we want you to try this radio. And I'll gladly try a radio in the sky. And it's just about experimenting and seeing how they do. I know that my 440 receives better than my IC706. Like, I know it. I've put them both on the same antenna, trying to get Parks on the Air from my house, and my 440 can get a clean signal, and my 706 can barely hear that there's something there. So I know my 440 does a better job of receive. But how does it do in the sky? I can't tell you because I can't take it in the sky. It's too big for the bag that I have. I wish it were a tiny little bit smaller so that I could, because it would be fun to compare them in the sky. It would be really fun to put them in the sky. 4 days in May. So yeah, part of what I'm going to do this winter is I'm going to learn CW, and there goes the AC again. So hopefully that doesn't distract you guys too much. And part of what I'm going to do next year after I learn CW this winter is I'm going to be doing CW parachute mobile. Slower than sideband, but I don't care because it's a different thing to try and experiment with. So, Jeremy, yes, the 991A has some heft. The weight doesn't bother me. Listen, I'm a tandem instructor. I'm used to having 250 pounds in front of me with a student. Not a big deal. So the weight isn't an issue for me. The size of it is, right? Because I can't safely fit it in my bag. It won't fit in my bag at all. So if I could safely fit it in a bag that I can take with me in the sky, I would absolutely take it. The weight doesn't bother me. The extra weight just means I descend a little bit faster, less time to do QSOs, but it's a trade-off I'm willing to make for the test. Let's see. The Zygu 6100. Ed, send me yours. I'll take it parachute mobile. Wow. Something is pumping water over there. Send me yours. I'll take it parachute mobile and take it for a test. I'll let you know how it behaves. Heck, I'll record it. I'll put a video online about it, and you can see how it behaves. Listen, I want to try different radios. I just don't have thousands of dollars to spend on them. So send me a radio. I'll give it a try. Send me a message first to make sure that I'm ready and I'm able to make a jump with it, because, some radios are not going to fit, and there's no sense in you sending me your enormous radio that I can't take and then me having to send it back to you. Just be smart about this. The 891 is an amazing receiver. I hope to test it someday. I've used ham radio dudes. Excuse me. I've used ham radio dudes on the ground. Sounds good. But I want to test them in the sky. I want to test every radio I can in the sky just because I think it's fun. Plus, I think it's fun for you guys to hear different radios and how they sound in the sky, right? One thing that I can say that's super positive about my 706 Mark IIG is that I've not had any complaints about wind noise, and I'm using the hand mic, right? The mic that you would use in your car. It's kind of bizarre, right? Because I would have expected some wind noise out of that. Apparently, people are not complaining about wind noise on it. It may be because they're making a weird QSO, and it may be because they're not hearing any wind noise. Either way, I'm okay with that. Oh, Jeremy, yes, Listen, my wife doesn't weigh anywhere near that, so I'm okay with that. Ed says I need to get one first. Yeah, it's basically time and money, right? You either I gotta have time or you gotta have money, and I don't have the money to swing owning every radio in the market. Just don't. I don't think anybody amongst the people that I know does, right? So we just make do with what we have, right? Which is why if RNL lets me borrow a radio, I'm gonna try to take it in the sky. And if a manufacturer lets me borrow a radio, I'm gonna take it in the sky. If any other distributor wants to or seller wants to let me borrow a radio, I'll gladly take it in the sky. because I want to experiment with different radios and see how they sound. The real catch is that I really need to be able to record the sound. So whatever I receive, I need to be able to attach to a recorder somehow, so that I can, have a audio for the video later, and B, so I can hear it and know the difference, right? Adam, K6ARK, gave me his old recorder, and I learned something new from him this weekend. He asked me, are you using the through? And I'm like, the what? And he goes, well, you can plug the radio directly into the recorder and then plug your headphones into the recorder. And I'm like, you can? I learned something new today. So I learned something new this weekend. That'll make making recordings a lot easier, because I don't have to worry about buying a separate different cable for the super special double secret probation port on the back, right? I can just use the headphone jack to the recorder, and then from the recorder to my headphones, we work, right? Any other questions, folks? I mean, this has been going on for a while. I don't know how long it's been going, but I'm sure it's been going for at least 45 minutes to an hour. So if you have questions, drop them there. And if I don't see questions that need to be answered in the next 5 minutes or so, I'll call it off. And again, I thank all of you that I met this weekend. The best part about this entire weekend was meeting you guys, right? Meeting the YouTubers, meeting the people that know me, that follow the channel, that watch these videos, has been the coolest stinking part of this entire weekend, without a question. I didn't expect it to be as overwhelming as it is. It's been super cool. I hear car doors slamming, so maybe the YouTubers are home. Let's see. Are they here? Are they here? Are they here? Uh-oh. Yep, there's a truck. So they're here. So maybe they'll come out and play here in a minute. Let's see. We're staying at a house somewhere between Dayton and Xenia. See, there you go.
Still streaming? Oh my god!
It's a YouTuber takeover!
So you have, Tank and temporarily Ham Radio Dude and Kyle and Red Summit RF and K6ARK.
He's wearing his own shirt. That's easy.
He's easy to ID. So there you go. So if you guys don't have any more questions, I'm going to sign off, because I'm going to have a beer with these guys. And if you have more questions, well, hurry up and put them in. Bueller. Whoa! Don't kick the chair and knock the beer over. So yeah, coolest part about this weekend, seriously, meeting you guys. I've handed out more stickers than I thought I would. I came to the show with, I want to say 100 stickers. I might have 10 left. That's funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny. Charlie! Charlie! Oh, that's so great. Gentlemen and Frank. Let's see. Ed says, gentlemen and Frank.
Love it. I love it.
Party on, dude. Dude really is. Dude's killing me. Mike WZ9Z. Sorry I missed you on Friday. Maybe next time I'm up at Laud. Okay, yeah. Yeah, absolutely fun time. So if you guys don't have any more questions, I'm gonna say 7-3 in a minute, right? So if you have questions, drop them over there. And if you don't have questions, well, I'll let Frank say Tank Radio one more time in here. You know?
Tank Radio! And if you keep watching, you might see, I'm going to tease, maybe it might happen. Josh might have a live stream later tonight, so watch this channel. It might happen. I'm not going to guarantee. But other
Tank,
than that, yes.
You had a shirt on, I think it was yesterday, with like a glitter tank.
That was today.
That was today. Where's it at?
Upstairs.
Can you bring it down? That's
it's
honestly
ready as
I don't, but you don't have to wear it. Just show it.
All right,
That is seriously the coolest Tank Radio shirt I've seen. Is that one? It's like a blue glitter, and I'm like, man, it looks like you went to a strip joint and had a stripper put a Tank logo on you. It really looks cool. Yeah, I don't know what his merch store looks like because I haven't been there, but I think he must have that on the merch store, and if he does. Super cool shirt. If you like his channel, go buy one of those because it's a really cool shirt. I'm gonna buy one. Like I'm gonna buy one. I'm gonna take it skydiving just because I think it'll make a fun video. Andy says go have fun with the guys. Yeah, I'm gonna have fun with the guys. And if Josh has a live stream later, I think he'll include all of us. I don't know for sure, but we're all in the same house. So it's like a really cool fraternity house. I'm not joking. This is the coolest frat house I've ever been to. Let's see. Tank has the shirt. I'm gonna pan over there. Listen, I don't know what it looks like in the gear in his merch store, but I can tell you in real life,
it's not in the merch store.
It's not.
A friend made this for me. He's
Oh,
not even
dude.
a radio person.
Dude, you need to make that a thing that can be bought because I would buy that.
She made it for me. It was amazing, and this is so cool.
That is,
I wore it
seriously cool. I saw it this morning. I was like, holy smokes, that is cool as hell. It looks like a stripper just, put a tank, like you had like a glue set up and a stripper you just came and, gave you a lap dance.
She kind of made this for me as a joke because I loathe glitter.
Dude,
it's not allowed in my house. I hate glitter, and she made this as a joke. I was like, that is amazing. I love it.
That is the coolest freaking shirt that I've seen of yours, man. That's like seriously cool, man. So there you go. You can't buy it, but my God, it is cool. I was like, I'm gonna go to the merch store and buy one. Apparently not.
Let's see what we can do.
There you go. See what we can do. All right, gang. If you don't have any questions, actually, if you have any questions, drop me an email. My email, Skydiver KD9OLN. I thank all of you, and hopefully, if we haven't caught up at the show yet, I'll catch you guys tomorrow, and if not, we'll catch you down the log. 7-3. Let's see. Tankerville. Yes! Tankerville. That's where we're going to end. We're going to end with Tankerville. 7-3.